Hello, my name is Maddie Hickman. I'm one of the group members for our project where we are doing bank marketing. And today we're going to take you through our site. So, first is our homepage. And the goal for this project is we were taking a raw data set from a Portuguese bank from the UCI machine learning repository. And what we did is we cleaned it, we filtered it, we explored the relationships between the different variables regarding our customers. And then from there, we were able to build some predictive models. Specifically, what we did was we create a cart model, we create a random forest model, and a couple regression models. Now, in order to help us understand which customers were most likely to subscribe to our bank saying yes to a term deposit is what we're going to do is we're going to guide you through our whole website and explain the information that we've gathered and what they mean. And then at the end, we'll be able to summarize all of our findings. So first, we're going to look at our research abstract proposal. Now, here we want to explain the purpose of our project. We just wanted to be able to determine which types of customers were more likely to subscribe to a term deposit than others at our Portuguese bank. In order to do this, we limited our data set to 17 variables. Our workflow included cleaning the data, exploring the relationships visually using lots of graphs. And then we were able to run these models such as the cart and random forest models, and then we were able to interpret our results from there. Now here you'll see we have our main research question, which is the best way for this Portuguese bank to increase their yes ratio with specific customers. And that is what we'll also be assessing throughout our website.
My name is Warner Lenahan, and I'm going to take you guys through our data dictionary. So this page basically just explains all of our variables that we have, and it's categorized by input variables and output variables. Essentially, our main focus was how many clients have subscribed to a term deposit, but we also use some input variables to help us reach the conclusion on which types of clients with several different factors that could affect their decision-making or success rate. So this is our data frame. It's essentially just how we loaded our data into RStudio from the data set. And this is a pie chart just showing how often people say yes compared to no. About 11% of people say yes to our subscription.
Okay, my name's Connor Darby. I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the graphs we have here. So first up, what we're looking at, we have the age distribution of every single client that was contacted by the bank. Here you can see that it is pretty heavily determinant on the age range from about 30 to 45 or 50. This makes sense. Usually people in this age range aren't, too old to not know how to, pick up a telemarketing phone, but they are also in that sort of middle age where they're open to make some investments. Down here, we have our subscription rate compared to the job that the customer holds and their education level. Interesting enough, over here on the education level, you could see that a lot of illiterate individuals are actually very prone to saying yes to our subscription. Here in the job category here, we'll expand on this later, but you can see that most of the individuals that are prone to saying yes are either retired individuals or students. And you can see that a lot of the people that are prone to saying no are either working blue collar job or service jobs. That could be because they don't have a lot of disposable income to throw around, something like that. Now we will move on to the rest of our graphs. Let's see. Here we go. Here are two buttons that display our original data set and our clean data set. They both have about 14,000 variables. They're very large. And as we saw before, a vast minority of those are people accepting the subscription. Our first actual graph here is the random forest graph. This essentially just shows that the call duration is a very important variable in our data set. It shows that if you took it away, it would very much decrease the accuracy of our predictions. And it is also responsible for all of the clean splits in our cart model here. Moving on to the scatter plot, this pretty simply just shows the distribution of people who said yes and no on the subscription. Blue is yes, red is no. You can see again, it kind of harkens back to the histogram that we had. It shows that most of our customers are in that 30 to 50 range. And those are also the people that said yes, majority. We see on the simple linear regression, again, this will predict who will say yes to the subscription based on their job, their education, their age, pretty much all of our factors. You can see that most of the positive effects come from age. They come from what kind of job you work. So those are the things that will determine if somebody will accept our call or hang up. So, yeah.
I'm John Chua, and in this graph, you see which customers are the least likely to subscribe. And this graph shows that blue-collar workers and service workers are the least likely to subscribe to this subscription that we have. And that's probably because of the level of education that's at hand. Next, we kind of see just like the average subscription probability by the job. And it reinforces what Connor said about retired people and students being the most likely to subscribe. And I think that's because retired people have less risks to worry about, and students are more eager to find opportunities to just earn money, and they have generally like more risk tolerance in general. Lastly, we see this logistical regression, which presents like the estimated effects of each predictor in the logistical regression model along with their confidence intervals. It reinforces the findings that we have of how retired people and students are the most likely to subscribe to this model. But in addition to that, we also see that single people and entrepreneurs are more likely to subscribe as well. In conclusion, overall, this project demonstrates that customers who have certain jobs, higher education levels, and who have previously experienced a successful campaign outcome, they're more likely to say yes. In our cart analysis, we determined that like the important variables here are duration, the P outcome, which is just like the previous campaign outcome, and job type. And from a random forest model, it showed that duration and previous contacts are very important in terms of whether or not a customer ends up subscribing. And this also makes sense because the length of call and the history of successful contact impacts what the customer is going to do. According to our research question, the best way to increase the likelihood of success is to target specific clientele and with specific strategies. And this just includes like narrowing the target audience to people who are retired and students and people who are more educated when it comes to these things, and also to target both the age groups of like students and retired people. Thank you.